Hey, Ethan,
Hey, Austin.
you ready to tell us a little bit about Pet Sounds?
Yeah, Pet Sounds is, in my opinion, the greatest record ever made. Perhaps the only flawless record ever made. Uh, I think in terms of like a metamorphosis, or I guess Pet Sounds is the butterfly of the Beach Boys, where they had been going through this emergence throughout their albums. You saw some early touches of this uh, Baroque pop. This
Is it Baroque or
fusion with
Barack?
classical. And it's not the president. Like Kennedy was the president back then, or
What?
LBJ.
Not?
But you saw this early sort of change in ideas. It started with the Beach Boys Today, right? And the
Okay.
Beach Boys Today was a pretty good album because the first half was all these like poppy hits, like you'd imagine, you like dance, dance, dance. I want to dance. It's Do You Want to Dance? But you even had some on the first half, like When I Grew Up to Be a Man, where they're really starting to get
That came
into.
out in '65, right?
I
Just for
believe
clarification.
so.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it and Summer Days must have come out in '65.
All right.
But the second half of that album, I mean, they're all like these emotionally gut wrenching songs. You're like, Please Let Me Wonder. I mean, these are songs that would have fit in on Pet Sounds, but a lot of people, don't know about it, and a lot of people that do think that Today is the direct prequel. And I used to think that, but I now think that Summer Days and Summer Nights, which came afterwards, is closer because it instead of going back like a lot of people think, I think they expanded upon and refined it. And they created it's like they're honing this sword, they're like a
That's the one.
blacksmith.
That's the one with California Girls, right?
California Girls is a very underrated song because people focus too much on the sort of, poppy,
David Lee
silly
Roth
lyrics. Well,
did.
yeah, but you listen to the backing track of that song, and it's unbelievable. I mean, it's a psychedelic song with normal lyrics. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's an ungrounded song with grounded wording. And then you even have like right after that, you have "Let 'Em Run Wild," which could have also been on Pet Sounds. I mean that
And now
song
what's that one like?
that song is it's about it's like Brian Wilson's talking to a girl whose boyfriend is being unfaithful, and he's
Yeah.
trying to tell her like, what he's doing, it's going to come back and get him. Let him run wild. But
Hmm.
it's sort of like he doesn't have the orchestration that you see on Pet Sounds, but it is close.
That is common. I've noticed, like in what limited uh of their catalog I've listened to. Um,
Unfortunately,
well, would that be a good thing because I have so much more to discover?
I guess so. Yeah,
All right. Well, anyways, I've noticed that you know Brian Wilson, or just the Beach Boys in general. There's a lot of their stuff is just like talking about a girl or talking directly to a girl about somebody that they're with or they have been with. Like in Pet Sounds, it was like what was it Here Today? I think.
here today. Yeah, I think that's the one you're going for.
Yeah, and it was like,
And also, I'm waiting for
I
the day.
came along when he broke your heart. Yeah, like that.
Yeah,
Yeah, like that one.
that's I'm waiting for the day.
Wait, I get the two confused.
Here today is like love is here
Yeah,
today and it's
yeah.
come.
And gone so yeah.
In that case, he's talking to a guy. He's talking to the guy
Yeah,
who
he's
ended up
like,
dating
I
his
was the
ex.
one who had her for something.
Yeah. Well, I figure, I feel like each song you could dedicate years to discussing, you know.
Yeah, okay.
But let's get into the actual. I've been talking about the precursors, the actual album itself.
We haven't even gotten to the actual thing yet.
1966, right?
We're gonna be here all night
If we're lucky.
if we're lucky.
1966, right? The Beach Boys are in Japan touring. Now, Brian Wilson stepped away from touring for a few years now. They replaced him with Bruce Johnston, who went on in the rest of the band. And he is a studio guy now. You know, he's producing albums for other people as well. And what he'll do, he'll get the songs ready, and the Beach Boys will come back from touring or whatever and record them. They'll release a new album. And they come back and they find that the instrumentation is complete. He hired a studio band called the Wrecking Crew,
Mm-hmm.
and he went through and two of the songs of the album are already instrumental, so that's two songs done. And this was controversial because, I mean, first of all, the sound has changed. It's Pet Sound. People tend to pigeonhole psychedelia into one type. Like
Yeah.
Strawberry Fields Forever.
Echoes.
Yeah, like Pink Floyd. Even some of their later stuff. I mean, you look at their like Friends or Smiley Smile.
Well,
I mean, that's one of those psychedelic albums of all time.
I've listened to like Good Vibrations, and there's definitely elements of psychedelia in there.
Yeah,
and
that's another psychedelic song with grounded lyrics.
And when you sent me the Smile Sessions, that was very psychedelic.
Well, you don't like the Elements Fire?
I mean, I like some of the stuff on there.
I'm about to hit you with karaoke rendition of the Elements Fire.
Well, that's
But before we get on to, the abandoned masterwork, we have to address the completed masterwork.
Yes, of course.
So the album is released. It's very popular in Britain. Not as popular in the USA, but the thing is, a lot of the songs on there, a lot of people know. First song, Wouldn't It Be Nice? That's probably one of the most famous Beach Boys songs.
One of the most famous songs.
Yeah, I mean, that's the only it's the only song I knew off this album when I started.
Same here.
When I first listened to it.
That and God Only Knows.
Yeah, I hadn't even heard God Only Knows, actually, at that point. Because when I first got in this album, it was... it had to be, I think, 11th or 12th grade. And I was really into the Beatles. What year did we have the free period together?
It was 2019 to 2020. So you were a senior.
I was a senior.
And it was,
I was really into the Beatles, and I saw people talking about how Pet Sounds was like a Beatles-like album. And I listened to it, and I liked it at first, but then that whole summer, this past summer, I just listened to it a lot, every day. And like, it's the only album that I think I can listen to on repeat forever and not get sick of at least one song.
Yeah. Felt
like
bad.
Led Zeppelin 4. I really like that album, but if I listen to it over and over, eventually Battle of Evermore would make me want to die a little bit.
No, never.
I feel like if you listen to that song on repeat forever.
I remember I was like, no, we're not talking about Led Zeppelin. Never
mind. No. Like, it's the beauty of music. It's an interconnected web.
Yes.
What are you gonna say?
I was gonna say, like, originally, like back in middle school when I first excuse me, when I first got into Led Zeppelin, I heard the Battle of Evermore. I liked it, but then I just didn't listen to it for a while after that. And then I was thinking, I was like, there was like a mandolin rhythm going on in my head, and I was like, what was that on? What was that on? So I went back and I listened to it, and now I love it. I think it sounds really cool because I like that folk sound they did blended in with all that rock going on, and I think that's really cool.
See, I have a thought about it.
Plus, I'm also a Lord of the Rings nerd. So.
No, yeah. All right, I have a solution to my issue with that song, right?
Mm-hmm.
To finish the Led Zeppelin 4 bit.
Yeah, we got to wrap that out.
If you swapped Battle of Evermore and 4 Sticks on the running order, I would like it better.
Okay.
But I don't know. I don't know if that would really work out.
Proceeds to look up Led Zeppelin 4 track listing.
Well, we go Black Dog, Rock and Roll, Four Sticks, Stairway to Heaven, Misty Mountain Hop, Battle of Evermore, Going to California, Levee Breaks.
All right, yeah, that would, yeah, I'd
Yeah.
understand.
Okay, wouldn't it be nice?
If we got
Simply
on with Pet
put,
Sounds.
yeah. See, the funny thing about for me, right, is that when I look at Wouldn't It Be Nice, at this point, I hadn't I think of the Wouldn't It Be Nice to Live Again, which is a Dennis Wilson song. And it's kind of weird because it's like the song title is Live Again, but there's also like Wouldn't It Be Nice in parentheses, like Wouldn't It Be Nice too? But Wouldn't It Be Nice is it's a pining. You know, it's a
Longing.
grasp for a future. Yeah. And it's not so much, wanting a girl, but it's having a girl and wanting to move on with them, but when you're a kid,
Living a life.
yeah, time's just too slow.
Yeah.
And then there was actually a version of the song in one of the sessions, I think, where they swapped the first two lyrics, right? Which let's see, I find it really interesting, sort of what it does when you do that, because like obviously the lyrics they went with, wouldn't it be nice if we were older, then we wouldn't have to wait so long, and wouldn't it be nice to live together in the kind of world where we belong?
Yeah.
But the original, or not the
It was
original,
a
but one of the
switch.
ones they were messing with, yeah, it's like, wouldn't it be nice to live together in the kind of world where we belong? And wouldn't it be nice if we were older, then we wouldn't have to wait so long? And I think it's kind of a different message at that point, I feel.
Yeah.
I saw one guy on a Beach Boys forum who had the hot take that this song was supposed to be about like gay lovers. And I'm like, I don't know. I guess music's up to the interpreter. I don't think that's what it was going for. And I saw another guy who was talking about like there's the middle bit where it's like it's so hard to live without it, but let's talk about it, you know?
Yeah.
Uh
That is a
I think
line that
it's
actually stuck out to me because he's like, it was he didn't like talking about it and not living it, but at the same
yeah.
time, he still wanted to talk about it because he wants to live it.
Yeah.
And so I
So
was like,
it
"What?
seems the more
Alright,
we
I
talk
get that.
about it, it
That's
makes it
cool."
worse to live without it. Well,
Yeah.
some guy was like, I think this shows that the speaker in this song takes sadistic pleasure from doing this. And I'm like, what? He's saying like it's something that I'm hoping
Just an
for.
adolescent thing.
Yeah, it's like it's something I'm hoping for, and like going without it is so bad, but like
Yeah,
my
it's like
hope is
like
what's
a
carrying me
sad
through it.
romantic poet
Yeah,
outlook, not like a full on just, obsession.
yeah. And like wouldn't it be nice, I think, is the perfect opener to the song because it's kind of like a trap. Like if you're a Beach Boys
Everything.
listener back in 1966, right?
Mhm.
Uh, and you're listening to it and you hear that and you're like, yeah, this is the Beach Boys. I like these guys, and then it sucks you in, and then it kicks into you still believe in me,
Yeah.
and that's like this song is this is where like the classical influences,
I mean, I think, um, sorry to interrupt.
No,
Out of
no.
all of the songs on there, my least favorite, aside from, like, Let's Go Away for a While,
Mm-hmm.
would probably be You Still Believe in Me. But
You
even
make
then,
me want to cry.
well, I still like that song. It's just,
I want to cry.
but, well, every other on there is just, like, better.
I don't believe in you anymore.
What are we gonna call it? We're
No, no.
gonna call it. All right, guys, I'm leaving.
Okay, but that song, I just like. I feel like the Pet Sounds is sort of a light concept album about
Love.
love and relationships. Like every song on there ties into it, and this song is like
And
making
it,
a
it
mistake.
gradually gets more mature in a way
Yeah, I mean, like even some of the
because
songs are
it
meant to tie
ends with
together.
just like him,
Where did your long
um,
hair go?
dude, long hair.
Hmm?
Okay. Well, it ends with
No,
you know.
Caroline. No, where did your long hair go?
Oh, I thought. I'm sorry.
No,
I
no.
heard dude long hair because my dad used to refer to Qui-Gon Jinn from Star Wars as dude long hair. So my mind automatically went to that, and I was really caught off guard by it. So,
No, I feel it.
but continue.
Uh, but yeah, like wouldn't it be nice? That's this idealized version of the future, and then you still
Hmm.
believe in me. We see, some like a pitfall that's happened. It's
Hmm.
about like the singer has made a mistake, and he's like marveling at the fact that his love still believes in him and is still willing to
Yeah.
forgive him.
Yeah.
And that song, like that opening, is so ethereal,
Hmm.
because he goes in that do 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 do, and even they made that they were
It's the
uh
slowest one on there, isn't it?
don't talk, put your head on my shoulder, or I just wasn't made for
Yeah.
these times. I would say.
Don't talk. Put your head on my shoulder. I really like because of the background.
No, yeah. Uh, but yeah, like they got that opening, like opening notes. They were plucking the piano strings directly with like paper clips and stuff.
That's what that was.
Yeah, and that's how they got that opening where it's just doing, 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 doing,
Do do
doing,
do
doing.
do do. Yeah.
And
I don't.
see, I like in albums. I feel like a good album, sort of like what we were talking about with the Led Zeppelin thing. I feel like a good album has to sort of commit, and you can put like all your sort of fast songs and then all your sort of slow songs, or you kind of have to spread them out between, right? Because if you get
Yeah.
too caught up in fast songs is usually okay, but I feel like too caught up in slow songs and then like maybe like one fast song
Yeah.
throws off the vibe. You got to commit to a side, or you got to
Yeah.
alternate,
You see, that's how I felt with Astral Weeks
right?
because it was like all kind of like slow and kept the same pace, and then you got the
Jazz.
young lovers do, and then and I'm just like, yeah, I like it, but I mean, you know,
Yeah, I can see like throw off the vibe.
yeah,
It's like well, we'll get to it, but there's a song in here that a lot of people say really throws off the vibe.
yeah. It's like Led Zeppelin 2. Like every song on there is fast, and then you got "Thank You,"
Yeah,
which is like right in the middle of it.
yeah, it's a little. I think he would have been a really good closer, even though I Bring It On Home is like my favorite song on that album. So, but I
I
think
gotta
I
say,
think I think Thank You could have been a cool. Is it, I don't know if is it the
I
side
think
one
"Ramble
closer?
On" gotta be my favorite on that.
Nah. See, okay. The reason I like Bring It On Home so much is because I over listened to that album and I didn't like Bring It On Home. So that was
Mhm.
the one song I wouldn't listen to when I was a kid. And now
Oh,
I go back and listen to it. And like, these are all pretty good, except Bring It On Home. It's a masterpiece,
yeah,
you know? But coming out of You Still Believe in Me, which is a really slow, heartfelt song, you actually have That's Not Me, which is
yeah.
an interesting little dichotomy in the, at least in like the name of the song, where, the I would say You Still Believe in Me is owning up to your mistakes and, being thankful that someone will forgive
That's
you.
not me. It's just him saying like, "Wait, I wouldn't do that," and then
Partially, but I think that's a titular thing because once you get into the song, it's like it's again with that theme of owning up to your mistakes. Even though initially at first glance it seems like it's this going back on it, right?
mhm.
When like that first verse, I wanted to show how independent I've grown, but that's not me. It's
I,
showing like you've got it in over your head and you need to pull yourself back. You need to ask for
yeah.
help. You need to it's again, it's owning up to your mistakes, and it's just
There's someone in my head, but it's not me.
yeah. I think Bruce Johnson did something with The Wall. Bruce
Really?
Johnson of the Beach Boys. Yeah, I don't remember what it was though. But I would say That's Not Me continues this young theme. It's not nearly as much about loving a person, but it's like being true to yourself instead of being true to someone else. It's about following your dreams and also being able to adjust them if you find out that maybe your dream isn't what you
Life is
imagined.
life.
Yeah. And this is a faster song, which I think is pretty good, between You Still Believe in Me and then Don't Talk, Put Your Head on My Shoulder, which is like the ultimate slow song. And this is my favorite instrumental part in the entire album, which is this album has two instrumentals. My favorite instrumental part is the bit in Don't Talk, Put Your Head on My Shoulder,
Yeah.
where it sort of goes and it does that do 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 do. Or I gotta go find like what it's like.
But at the end, right, it has that violin part.
Yeah, and it's so
I love that.
it's like classical. It's like a Gershwin piece,
Mm-hmm.
you know. Like after it goes, listen, 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 you know.
Yeah.
And this song is all, I feel like, if we're going to sort of ascribe a concept here, because I don't feel like this is a concept album in the way like The Wall is a concept album,
Definitely.
It's not like there's a guy in here and all these songs are about this guy, but it's snapshots of
In
different
the family
people's
album,
lives. Yeah. What's that from?
it's The Wall.
The Wall's an album? I thought it was just that one song. It's like,
Just keep going. Keep going. Keep going.
Austin's like clenching his fist right now.
I mean, it's more like my jaw that.
Yeah. But this, I love this song because it's about wordless communication when you're so in touch with a person.
Yeah, bro.
It's like you can hear so much in their sighs and see so much in their eyes. Don't talk. Put your head on my shoulder. You don't. There's no words
you
needed.
don't always need to talk, bro.
Yeah. I mean, this instrumental.
The moment of silence for Astral Sounds, so we can deliver the message of this song. All right, I wasn't serious, but seriously, just keep going, seriously.
Nah, but that the instrumental bridge, the strings, it's ridiculous. I mean, that is like
it sucks.
I'm hovering over the disconnect button. But it's like
just messing with
it's just like, and I think it's actually really telling. It's form and function with the song, because like the emotional weight of the song is being carried by the lyrics, and then it goes into this wordless instrumental piece that just like shoots it to the heavens, the emotions.
Yeah.
And that is the song. It is the song saying you don't always need to express what you're saying with words. Sometimes there's just things between people that let's not think about tomorrow. Let's not worry ourselves with thoughts of what comes next. Let's stay here in the moment. And I think this is, in this concept, this is the forgiveness, right? This is the moment where it comes back for him after these other two songs of him just messing up.
Yeah.
And then my favorite song on the album, the soothing harmonies and melodicism of Don't Talk Your Head on My Shoulder.
Okay. All right. This is all right. So you're saying that I'm Waiting for the Day is your favorite song on the album?
Yes.
And would that make it your favorite song of all time?
No, because Pet Sounds works as it does because of the songs together.
Surrounding, yeah.
My favorite song of all time is Surf's Up by the Beach Boys.
Oh, okay.
Because, I mean, that song is Pet Sounds in a song. The thing is, Pet Sounds as an album is much more cohesive and a better listen and a more enjoyable experience than the Smile sessions or even the album Surf's Up. The album Surf's Up's really good. except for
Mm-hmm.
the foot fetish song and the song about how like student protests are good, but they're also bad because you get shot. Every other song on the album's great except those two.
Okay then.
Take a load off your feet. You got to scrub them. It's a
All
weird
right.
song, but I'm waiting for the day. You're interrupted this instrumental piece with harsh drums, you know, boom. And I think, in my head when I'm piecing together this album, right?
Mm-hmm.
Don't talk about your head on my shoulder. That's this reconnection, right? This reconnection between these two that may have drifted apart. But then I'm waiting for the day is, you know, Brian Wilson, I came along when he broke your heart, and it's this guy, he's in love with a girl, and they're dating, but the issue is she still has her heart maybe not set on another guy, or a guy who broke up with her, but
But
she's
she's
still
not ready to break it off yet.
affected. Yeah, I feel more like they're dating, but she's still recovering from
Yeah.
this other relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Like the chorus, I'm waiting for the day when you can love again.
Brian Wilson's like, clock's ticking, woman.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
He hurt you then, but that's all gone. I guess I'm saying you're the only one. And this is just in the background, I love those drums that come in or that start off the song, and then like the whole album is about or not the album song. This whole song is about this patience. It's like I know
Yeah.
you'll be feeling better soon. I'm gonna do everything I can. When I can, I'll give strength to you.
Mm-hmm.
But then he's just waiting for the day when she's gonna be better. And then the best part, I'm waiting for the day when you can love again. And then it like drags out, and you think it's gonna be like another peaceful moment from
That's
"Don't
like
Talk
the
to Your Head on
ending
My
of
Shoulder."
Glass Onion.
Yeah,
And
it's
then it
like
just comes back.
yeah. And then it kicks back in because here's the thing, right?
You
Don't
in
talk with your head on my shoulder. It's a peaceful moment.
around that hill. Yeah.
Yeah, but like the song before this, he's opening his heart. It's a very peaceful moment where it's like this vulnerability. But in this song, he's angry. You don't think I'm gonna sit around and
I
just
don't know about
let this
angry,
happen. It's
but
indignation.
yeah, okay, sure.
It's not
Maybe.
anger towards her, but it's anger towards this girl that he loves.
Frustration.
It's a
Maybe.
mild anger. I feel like there is anger towards the guy that broke up with her.
No, he's probably just mad about the situation because he's like, I mean, I know it don't need to be this way. So,
But I feel like, you didn't think I could sit around and watch him take you, watch him go. I
yeah.
feel like he is like upset at this guy because it's sort of like that whole thing where it's like if you
Because
love
he
her,
really
let her
cares about
go.
this girl.
Yeah, it's like the reverse of if you love her, let her go.
Uh-huh.
That whole thing?
Yeah.
Like people that are like, I just want to see her happy. It's like the reverse of that. It's like she was happy and then you just crushed that. And even though like I want to be with her now and make her happy, like part of me is just pissed off at you for that.
That's the ongoing like duality of love.
Right.
It's just like it's constant conflict about like, okay, would she be happy or what would I do to affect this?
Yeah. And then I feel like the reconnection in the rebirth of a relationship is then the next track. First instrumental. Let's Go Away for a While, which I like this song. I like the early bit with the drum beats and the sort of like ringing noise. Dun,
Very
dun,
ambient.
dun, dun. Yeah, it's sort of like I listened to this song just like when I was just driving around, and it's like, I can feel it. And I feel like this is like a couple reconnecting. It's like they're going to a day at the races or something, or like a night at the opera. Like they're just sort of feeling the vibe, like they're rediscovering why they connected. And this will be
It's a
contrasted
kind
later
of
on in the album.
magic, isn't it?
Yeah, like it really makes me think who wants to live forever.
Yeah. It's like this constant game you play. It's like,
Yeah, like
all right, we got
Queen
shut up.
won.
Keep going. Just get Queen one.
But like, let's go away
Like
for a while.
Queen
It's hard
2
to
too. Like what?
Queen 2. When's Pet Sounds 2 coming out?
It was consistent up until Queen 1.
Well, that's like. It's almost like how Let's Go Away for a While is breaking up the consistency of the album.
Mm-hmm.
And see, instrumentals weren't anything new to the
Well, that
Beach
was
Boys.
smooth. That was
Look,
smooth.
instrumentals weren't anything to the Beach
No,
Boys, right?
no. That was smooth. We go on about all these Queen references, and you say Queen 1, and then I say that was inconsistent, and then you just say that.
Not like this
That
album,
was
man.
smooth.
Like literally, I can write a paper in maybe like 2 weeks, but if it was a Pet Sounds paper, be done in 2 minutes.
Yeah.
1,000-word paper, 2 minutes.
Yeah.
But I think Let's Go Away for a While is supposed to be ambient. It's supposed to be an ambiance to, this day. Like
Is it
even the song Let's Go Away for a
ambient
While.
or ambient?
I misspoke. I was hoping you wouldn't catch it.
Well, I'm not sure because I know some people pronounce it like ambiance.
It's ambiance and then ambient, I'm pretty sure.
Right, yeah, that's English for you.
The thing about this song I can think of, not talking about the lyrics because there are none, is that my favorite part of this album is sort of this duel between strings and horns. I feel like this is a very horn song. You have the clackers. I think there's like tempo blocks they use because the best part of this album. The lyrics are great. I really like the lyrics. Tony Asher collaborated with Brian Wilson on these lyrics.
Yes,
and they're amazing. But he made this album with 8 tracks, and everything's just so lush. It's like it's an airy density. There's like this, it's all this stuff crammed in, but yet, yeah, it's like a Milky Way bar. You bite into a Milky Way bar, and there's like a lot of, yeah. Speaking of tropical romanticism, Sloop John B.
That has a ring to it. I'm gonna write that down.
It's like Indian wisdom. That was a Friends Sessions outtake that never got on the album.
Tropical romanticism. Continue.
I feel like a lot of people don't like Sloop John B in this album.
All right. I love that song.
No, I like it, but a lot of people will say, "Oh, it doesn't make any sense, man. Why are they covering this, like this Caribbean folk song in this like album about love?" But I think it's just a complete misunderstanding. First of all, I think it exemplifies how amazing this album is because they take like this folk song and they create this orchestrated masterpiece out of it.
Yeah. Well, it's also like this. They used to be this surf rock band and all that, and that's what they were known for. And this was their transitional period.
Right.
This was the beginning of like a new era. So it's almost like Sloop John B is an homage to that because it's about like the water and all that sort of thing. I don't know how stupid I sound, but
I think I agree with that. Because I think Sloop John B is the Surf's Up of Pet Sounds.
So I think it's necessary for it to be in there because it's transitional, but it's also has a nod to what they were.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, I agree with that. I also, my thing is Sloop John B. It's the last song on side 1. And I really like the intro again because it ties in with Let's Go Away for a While. It's still like the clacking, clicking noise, except it comes in. I think it's I don't know what instrument that is at the beginning. It might be like
on Let's Go Away for a While?
Like a flute or something? No, Sloop John B. That sort of high-pitched noise.
You ever heard Madrigal by Rush?
No.
Okay, never mind. Because it's like the similar sounding instrument.
It might be the same one.
It might just be like a keyboard or something. I don't know.
Oh, it might be like a depressed piano key, yeah. But I feel like the Sloop John B ties in the album because we have Let's Go Away for a While. I'm waiting for the days, I'm waiting for this to happen. Let's Go Away for a While as I feel like it finally happens. But then Sloop John B is this return to reality. And I think that's going to lead us into the second half where I feel like side 1 is this idealism and then side 2 is the weight of reality. You know,
Uh-huh.
it's just all the heavier songs.
Yeah, and because God only knows, like, I may not always love you. Like,
Yeah, and
that's
like
in your face.
God knows is the transitional point. Like it's
Hmm.
starting to seep in, and then it goes downhill. Sloop John B, let's go away for a while. It's like, let's go on an adventure together. Let's reconnect. Then Sloop John B, it's like, I want to go home.
Yeah,
Let me go home.
yeah.
The worst trip I've ever been on, which who knows if that's referring to literally or, in a psychedelia drug sense,
Man,
you
that
know?
song is fun to me. I
No,
really,
I really like it.
yeah.
And I don't understand the people who say it doesn't make sense because I feel like it's looking at things from too much of a surface level.
Hmm.
Uh,
Well, I used to think that way about a lot of music because you'd listen to say something like just all right, Pet Sound, and
mhm.
you'll listen to the Sloop John B, and you'll listen to everything else on it. Everything else on it makes sense. But then you listen to that, it's like okay, well then maybe then none of this was supposed to make sense because of
Yeah,
that. Like maybe this it was just all just thrown together for the heck of it. But
yeah.
then, but then you start to actually get your critical thinking going on, and then you were just like, okay, maybe.
Analysis.
And then maybe if you just associate it, regardless if you think that's just purely your own interpretation or not, but it would still make sense to you, and thus it would still be
Well, I feel
represented as
like
a concept album.
I believe in death of the author for music. I guess death of the artist in that sense, where what you take away from a song, there's the artist is throwing this baseball at you of what they want you to hear, but you can catch it however you want or not catch it
Yeah,
at all, or eat the baseball. It doesn't matter.
eat the
Your interpretation of the song is the most valid one that exists,
exactly. That's a
unless
good
you're
that's a
that
good
one
way to
guy.
put it.
Yeah, but even if there's two people I talked about earlier, to them that's fine. I feel like
No,
no, you have to. Your interpretation of the song has to be somewhat grounded in reality if you want people to
wrong.
discuss it. If you want people to like accept it, because your interpretation of the song doesn't have to be accepted. Your
Hmm.
interpretation of the song is something that's in your heart and soul. Uh, you can't listen to God Only Knows and be like, he actually hates her. You know, you can't.
Yeah,
You can if that's what you believe, but if you say that to people and they're like, no, that's not what it's about, and you get all like, oh, it's what I think it is.
it's like taking an ostrich, right,
Hmm.
and calling it a possum, and
Yeah.
say, I call this a possum because of such and such, and that logic could not make any sense at all.
Well, it's like there's an ostrich and people are walking around like, oh, it's a bird. It's really big. It has gray feathers. And someone goes and says, oh, it's a possum. And they're like, no. And he's like, what's my interpretation? And it's like you can have your interpretations, but there is at some point
Yeah,
some facts. There
yeah,
is a
there
little
is
bit.
some sort of like reason that needs to be
But if you can explain
acknowledged.
like your metaphorical allegory or whatever, then
Well, it's like
sure.
if you, like no answer is wrong as long as you back it up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Uh and this is actually one thing about this album, right?
The more, all right, I'm sorry. The more I talk about this album, the more philosophical it seems to get, and I love it.
It is. It's a beautiful album.
It's
It's
just
peace. Uh, now the one issue I have with modern digital music and even CDs, this is gonna sound really weird, is that I feel like there needs to be a gap between Sloop John B and God Only Knows, where you're flipping the record over. Whenever I
Mhm.
listen to it, I pause it for a bit because if Sloop John B goes straight into God Only Knows, it's a bit discordant. But if you have it wait, if you imagine like the record spinning and then like slowly God Only Knows comes in with that sort of it's amazing.
Mhm.
Uh and this God Only Knows is, I think it's the peak of this album. Not in the sense it's the best song. It's a really good song. I think it's a
The
wonderful song. I think this is when the album starts to This is like the climax is a good word, yeah.
It's
The
like,
rest of this
all right,
album is the denouement.
it's like you're watching. I don't know if you've ever seen like let's say The Sound of Music, right? But
Mhm.
it used, back in like when long movies were mainstream and that sort of thing, then you'd have an intermission,
Yeah.
and
Well,
then it would
I
just like
think the
go on to
intermission is
the next half of the movie, and then in this case,
I think that's the record flip,
yeah.
is that intermission, yeah.
I mean, you could take that literally and say that I'm stating the obvious, but in this case, it's more of a theatrical sense of it.
Yeah, and then I feel like God only knows this is the peak of of this love and relationship, it's the purest, uh, emotion to someone, and even the
Mhm.
"I may not always love you," that's sort of this keying into the more grim tones, but
Yeah.
I feel like "I may not always love you, but as long as there are stars above you, you never need to doubt it."
Yeah.
I feel like, it's basically just a random it's like a teasing, joking way of being like, "Well, I may not always love you, but as long as there's stars above you." I mean, that's basically all the time. And then even
Mhm.
just the chorus, "God only knows what I'd be without you."
Yeah.
It's the first time, like, God was used in a commercial song. It was like a hymnal, you
Mhm.
know? Uh, yeah, I really like the harpsichord on this song. We hear it again in Smile Sessions when he's going, I think, Wonderful. He's playing the harpsichord. It's
So
just a really underused instrument.
you wouldn't be calling this like a stream of consciousness, would you?
No, because I feel like it's a profession of love.
Yeah,
I feel like
that's
these are all
like
things that he
I
would
wouldn't
say to a
consider this a
person.
stream of consciousness, like because Van Morrison, like I mean, I'm going into like an Astral Weeks comparison
I
here.
mean, the album covers on both are kind of green, so it works.
Yeah, what? Well, it's like the key difference, between Astral Weeks and this album is like Astral Weeks is almost purely stream of consciousness, as opposed to this, which is like has actual meter to it.
No, yeah.
And but continue. Sorry, I just felt
Uh,
like mentioning that.
oh, I thought it was interesting. I think the best part of this song is the outro with
Mhm.
the rounding, where it's like, God only knows what I'd be without you. And they keep going in like it's slightly different points, and it just turns into
Yeah.
this. And I feel like that's interesting because it's like taking this idea, Brian Wilson was really into the Phil Spector recording method, right? This is before he started murdering women.
Keeping your wife captive and
Yeah, but like the idea behind that is that when you have this, like electronic recording was like a relatively new thing. The technology was just then available where you can play instruments. If you're at a
Mhm.
symphony, your ear will pick out each individual instrument if you try. But on a
Yeah.
digital medium, only like records back then. I mean, it's not so much digital, but electronic medium. You can combine instruments together in such a way. There's an interview with Brian Wilson where he talks about, you have a piano and a guitar and you play them and you create an entirely new instrument using this, like, a studio. It's not just a piano or a guitar anymore, it's a piano guitar. You're creating
Mhm.
an entirely new instrument. And I feel like this entire album utilizes that method, but I feel like the outro to God Only Knows, he's applying that same concept to their voices.
Vocals, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like the harmonies of the Beach Boys are
Iconic.
kind of their distinctive thing. Yeah. I mean, I can only think of a few songs where it's not in there at least once. I think it's honestly like an underused thing. I wish more people would not be
Eagle
so. Hmm?
Eagles.
Well, yeah, but I'm thinking like, I mean, uh, the sort of using vocal harmonies along with your music. I mean, it's obviously still a thing, but not to the extent I think the Beach Boys did it, where it's almost like
Yeah.
doo wop in a way, you know? Because it's like I found it interesting. You do like an
Temptations.
acapella, but they also have instruments, you know?
Yeah.
Anyway, uh, I know there's an answer. Now, this is the one of the most interesting songs in the album because it's not really the original. Uh, the original of this was "Hang On to Your Ego" until Mike Love wanted Brian Wilson to change it because it was about drugs.
Mhm.
Mike Love was not into drugs, because this whole song is about
Mike Love was a weenie. A weenie.
I find this song really interesting because when you look at the broader history of what was to happen, it's Brian Wilson. Like there's this verse 2, Mike Love. They come on like they're peaceful, but inside they're so uptight. They trip through their day and waste all their thoughts at night. And then Brian Wilson's like, how can I come on and tell them the way they live could be better? It's interesting because it's like Brian Wilson almost like trying to intervene in these people who are really into drugs, really he sees them as wasting their lives, and then he would sort of fall into the same trap with Smile, just like lose his mind a
do as
bit.
I say, not as I do.
But I feel like at this point he hadn't got into there yet, so he's coming in this from someone new. Like, well, how does it get to that point? And then like it's almost like he himself reaches that point.
Yeah, well,
Later on.
It's almost like you spend all this time giving advice to people and saying that you just trying to get them out of like a rut in their lives, but then eventually you'll get in that same rut.
Yeah, that's even the original title of the song, "Hang On to Your Ego," and that was the chorus. It's a reference
Hang
to
on to yourself. Reference to David Bowie.
No, yeah, that's what they referred to.
Yeah,
but
6 years in advance.
I think it was like there's a let go of your ego. That's like what all the psychedelics were about. That was like the psychedelic handbook or whatever. That was like a big thing. You're supposed to release your ego and sort of go to a more ethereal place. But the original, he's saying, hang on to your ego. Don't just succumb to this. And even verse 1, the original, it's like knowing people who think they can do it alone. I feel like in this case, it's a person. We're starting to see more mature themes come in, especially with I Know There's an Answer. And he's the speaker, he's looking at these people, he's like anything about people he knows, and just like worried for them, like he's it's like a prayer in a way. He's like, I know there's an answer. I feel like it goes from God only knows, or Smile's gonna be 10 hours. Like the amount of time we've been talking,
I feel like
now,
we're going up on an hour right now.
The amount of time we've been talking now, I'll be like, so heroes and villains.
Yeah,
I'll be getting to
like
heroes
you've
and
been
villains.
picking apart each individual song.
There's a lot more songs.
Yeah, it's great.
Here Today,
bro. If you don't talk about G in
it's actually a cover.
How?
It's like a doo-wop standard, right? How I Love My Girl. But yeah, it was like a big song, and I think, I'll save that for the Smile episode. Yes. Here Today. I really like this song.
We're already reaching Godfather levels on this. Just keep going.
Well, like Here Today is interesting because all these other songs in the album, most of them have this instrumental intro that leads in. A lot of times with like this sort of discordant sounds, like do 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 do, and a lot of them. And then Here Today starts just with the vocals, Mike Love, and it's just you can hear the do 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 in the background, but it's very minimal. And I think this song is actually meant to be referring back to the guy from the speaker in God Only Knows, right? Because God Only Knows is like this profession of love, the peak of one's love, and then Here Today is sort of this other guy who's watching. Maybe it's the same guy from I'm Waiting for the Day. Maybe it's the same guy who's here's my side of the story. Yeah. A brand new love affair is such a beautiful thing, but if you're not careful, think about the pain it can bring. And then in the second verse, I'm the guy she left before you found her. It's a silent warning, because he's not saying this to the person who's so in love, but he's thinking it. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
and then like the whole chorus, you've got to keep in mind, love is here today and gone tomorrow, here and gone so fast. Uh, it's this fleeting essence, and this is continuing this descent. It's going to culminate in Caroline No, and in my opinion, even start to culminate in the next song, uh, with sort of our, I don't want to say protagonist because this is all just my interpretation, right? But it's starting with like our
Our
hopeful,
hero of this story.
yeah, exactly. But this idealist view of things is starting to crumble away. This whole peaking with God only knows, where it's just this perfect relationship, and
Mm-hmm.
then right after that, he starts to sort of see the cracks in society and the world around him, and those become onto his relationship. He starts to become less content with life from his
Yeah.
peak, where he was just, if you're not here with me, what good will living do me? You know?
I hope my dad watches this, and
Uh,
I hope he watches this whole thing and actually gets something out of it, because he thinks that the Beach Boys like suck compared to everything else that came out during that time.
that's Look, they released Sunflower in 1970, and people think Let It Be is a better album, and I will strangle them if they think Let It Be is a better album than Sunflower. Okay.
Let It Be didn't do well at first.
Yeah, but there's people out there who are like, oh, Let It Be, it's not that great, but at least it's better than the Beach Boys. It's like, have you
No,
heard
I dig
Sunflower?
Sunflower. It's all right. It's
It's
cool.
groovy, man.
Yeah.
But I just wasn't made for these times. We're coming up on the end here. This is our second to last song with vocals. We have another instrumental. I like how the instrumentals are placed, sort of leading up to the final song on each side. With "Let's Go Away for a While" and "Sloop John B." It's sort of this. It's building tension and excitement. "Let's Go Away for a While." It's a. I feel like it's one afternoon. It's rediscovering this love, and I'll talk about Pet Sounds, the song, when we get to it, and what I think that is. But I just wasn't made for these times. Heart wrenching song. Uh, even just that, it has that sort of thing where it starts straight into
It's
the
almost like a
lyrics.
letdown.
Yeah, it's this guy coming to terms after I know there's an answer, and after Here Today, where he's fed up, with the world around him. He
Yeah.
wishes he was born at a different time. Uh, in the chorus, he says he can't find nothing I can put my heart and soul into. And I love the chorus.
I love that part.
A lot of people hate the chorus because it's just sometimes I feel very sad and everyone makes fun of
Put
it.
my heart and soul into.
But I like the layers of the chorus
Yeah.
because sometimes I feel very sad where it's this like, he's like not really saying anything. Like it's just this like childlike, I feel very sad. And in the
Yeah.
background, there's actually they're speaking in Spanish. They're saying like cuando seré and un día seré,
Mm-hmm.
uh, which I'm pretty sure actually, um, cuando seré is like when will I be,
Yeah.
and then un día
Just like
seré.
just like the Clash.
Hmm? Okay. But it's sometimes I feel very sad, and it's like, when will I be? And
Sorry.
then it's when will I be, and then someday I'll be. Okay. It's longing again, right? But in this time, it's not longing for a future in the present sense, where you can be with a girl you like. It's deeper than that. It's longing for a place where you'll fit in. It's the first verse. I keep looking for a place to fit in where I can speak my mind.
Uh-huh.
Where can I turn when my fair weather friends cop out? I really like that lyric. Uh, it's just like
When
I
my
feel like
fair weather friends cop out.
yeah, it's like I feel like everyone can relate to that in some way.
Well,
Like
that's a neat kind of lyric, though.
yeah, like when I put
Like,
off
who would come up
recording,
with that? When my fair
Brian
weather
Wilson.
friends.
Yeah, like I mean, I always think like I wonder, he was like a very famous musician. I wonder how many people he became friends with that he genuinely thought were friends, and it turns out they were just
Yeah,
trying to get something out of him.
relatable tune.
Yeah. And after the chorus, before I get into the outro, there's an instrumental bit, and he actually there's a theremin solo, or more specifically, an
A what
electro
now?
theremin. So a theremin, it's like that whiny sounding thing, where it's like,
Theremin.
It's actually also used in Good Vibrations, and Good Vibrations is like the one that's credited a lot of times for being like the first, big pop song to use it. But it was first used in a Beach Boys song here.
I know what you're
Uh,
talking about. I know what a theremin is. Yes.
yeah,
Jimmy Page used it on live versions.
yeah, it's a really neat instrument, and it's almost it sounds like an artificial voice, like one of the Beach Boys harmonies, which I think ties into it. I feel like there's these pure from the soul harmonies in these songs, and then you have the theremin solo come in, where it's a
Mm-hmm.
hollow imitation of that, which I feel like relates into this idea where he just feels like he doesn't fit in, and there's
Mm-hmm.
this sort of like uncanny valley theremin noise, which almost just sort of barely
Man,
sounds like it could be a vocal.
this is deep.
Ah, man, it's flowing.
Shit.
It feel flows. Uh, and then it goes into Pet Sounds, which is my favorite instrumental on the album.
Pog.
A lot of people say "Let's Go Away for a While" is better, which I don't get.
No,
I don't quite get it.
not.
Pet Sounds was originally meant to be like a James Bond theme. I love the intro where it's that sort of like it's like a crackling
Don't,
noise
don't,
almost. Yeah.
don't.
Yeah. In my interpretation of this is that I think the two instrumentals are linked, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like going back to "Wouldn't It Be Nice?" When you're young, time just feels to stretch on forever, and you have "I'm Waiting for the Day," which is a 3-minute instrumental, and I feel like it, or not "I'm Waiting for the Day." "Let's Go Away for a While."
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, that's a 2-minute instrumental. I was looking at the wrong song, and I feel like that's supposed to be like a day or a weekend or a week, like where they're rediscovering their love. But I feel Pet Sounds is the passage of time, from the point where they're in their 20s, maybe like late teens, to the point where they're now old. And it
Mm-hmm.
shows it's like about the same length, but I feel like it's representative of the fact that like as you get older, time just moves faster,
Uh-huh.
and he finds himself in Caroline No, the last song. But honestly, Pet Sounds, just that there's a bit just before it ends where it sort of goes sort of stops for a bit, and there's that like bongo drum noise, and it's like it's
Mm-hmm.
ramping back up, and it's like doom 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 doom, and then the trumpets, bow, bow, and then it breaks back, and then it kicks back in. It's just a little bit different, and I feel like it's just I feel like it's the instrumental end of an era,
Mm-hmm.
both to the Beach Boys as they were, and also just to
That
youth
kind
and
of music.
childhood. Yeah, but also like in this sort of narrative,
Well,
the singer's childhood
it
and
is
youth.
kind of funny you mentioned that
Hmm.
because it would kind of signal the end of an era for that kind of music at that time because Revolver kind of did the same thing.
Yeah,
And they introduced like psychedelia into the mainstream, and with Tomorrow Never Knows, and then Revolver went in so many different directions that it was just like all of this can still be considered pop, but it's not the same. But now pop has so many different definitions.
yeah. Which I feel like that's definitely an episode we should do is
Like
Rubber
the
Soul and Revolver.
Yeah, it's like the Beatles had this responsibility
Hmm.
almost.
But Pet Sounds came up before Revolver. Did your mind just like explode or something?
I was actually getting really into this.
What do you mean? I just thought I'd tell
I
because
was friends with you. Oh.
no, because like okay, Brian Wilson wrote this song wrote this album because he listened to Rubber Soul by the Beatles, the best Beatles album.
Didn't you think?
And no, but then he was like, every song on here is like its own song. There's no filler like there had been on many albums up to that point. He's like,
Yeah.
I want to make an album like that. And so he makes Pet Sounds. Bruce Johnston takes an acetate of it to London, plays it for Paul and John, and a lot of people will compare this album to like Sergeant Pepper's. There's the bit at the end of Good Morning, Good Morning, where they play a bunch of animal noises, and people say that's like a Pet
Yeah.
Sounds reference. They also say that Here, There, and
Among Us
Everywhere.
reference, bro.
I hate it. I hate you. No, I'm kidding.
David Bowie is sus.
David Bowie sus. Okay, but also they say that I think Here, There, and Everywhere is influenced by God Only Knows, I've heard.
Yeah.
But I'm not so sure. But like, I guess there's that sort of intro where it's like the vocals. They also do that on Because, Abbey Road Because.
Yeah.
Which I always find funny because you'll see people talking about how much they love the vocals on that the Beatles
harmony.
did. Yeah, it's like 1969, that would have been like 2020, which wasn't a massively great album, but it's okay. But yeah, I feel like Pet Sounds, that's the passing of life.
Like the year.
Yeah. It's, I saw somebody made an edit of that album cover where they all had masks on. It was really funny. And then after Pet Sounds comes to a close, it sort of fades off in the distance. There's a decent little bit of silence there.
Choo choo train.
But then Caroline No. And then Caroline No starts off. I think it's like a very brief instrumental. I think it's Cymbal Crash. It's very quiet.
Carol, I know.
Yeah. And Caroline No, a lot of people really like this song, and I like it too. Some people say it's like the best song on the album. I think they're smoking the same stuff Brian Wilson was.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's a very important song for the album because it is this whole second half,
the melancholic, bittersweet.
Yeah. And this is Wouldn't It Be Nice? They've reached the point.
Bro. Alright, I'm sorry, but I just thought of a parallel.
Hit me with it.
You know how there's like a train at the end?
Mm-hmm.
You know how there's like a train in Madame George?
It's the same train.
It's the same train.
I think so. The Beach Boys and Van Morrison are in the same cinematic universe.
Oh, that'd be whack. Right, continue.
Oh yeah. Caroline No is my interpretation of it. He's first of all, it's Where Did Your Long Hair Go? Where's the Girl I Used to Know? He's older and he's looking back. He's looking back on the time that he was envisioning.
When I'm 64.
Nice. Yeah, like when I'm 64 is similar to Wouldn't It Be Nice in a way where I feel like
inverse.
Yeah, like it's a happier look at it.
Well, that's almost kind of inverse because like when I'm 64 is like when I turn that age, will you still do that? But at this point, he is like 64 and he's like, oh, okay, this is how it is.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel that actually. I think you're right on that point.
Big brain.
Yeah, I think that's interesting actually. But yeah, this song, it's about like I used to think that our love was unchallengeable, and now I'm looking back and I've you said you'd never change, but that's not true.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes into that harmony. He's like, break my heart, and it's just like the intermission between I Wasn't Made for These Times. His entire life passes by in Pet Sounds, I think. I think that's why it's called Pet Sounds, right? I feel like much in the way that Pet Sounds is his life, the song Pet Sounds is also his life.
Mm-hmm.
In a way. But then this is all just like my
Okay.
BS interpretation of it.
Well,
I don't
no, no,
think this
no.
is
Hey,
necessarily
hey. As long as
intended.
you can back it up. The the
Yeah,
the big question though, right? Why
and
is it
then
called Pet Sounds?
okay, well, there's multiple reasons. So, uh, one thing I've heard passed around is that your pet sounds are the sounds that you really like and you keep around.
Yeah,
In that regard, like it'd be like your favorite songs or your pet sounds.
I
Uh,
was kind of I was kind of thinking that, but wasn't sure.
another reason it's called that is that Mike Love asked, "Who's going to hear this shit? The ears of a dog." And then Brian Wilson's like, "We're going to call it Pet Sounds because of that." And then Mike Love tried to take credit for it.
I
That's an
mean,
actual quote.
I mean,
Yeah.
then he realized he was like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, he's just Mike Love is such an enigmatic figure in the Beach Boys canon.
He's like the second tallest, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he got that. He got that. He got that caveman looking about him. All right,
uh,
were you done talking about Caroline? No, because we haven't even
uh,
touched on the dog barks.
oh no, I was gonna go on that. That verse 3, I feel like, is the most telling part of the album. And I have an interpretation for the train and the dogs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, verse 3, could I ever find in you again the things that made me love you so much then? Could we ever bring them back once they are gone? Oh, Caroline, no. I feel like the train is her leaving.
Yeah,
Maybe
definitely.
not literally, even. Maybe it's literally, but
Well,
also
that's
figuratively.
like, yeah, I think
Their train has
that's a
passed.
very solid interpretation.
The dog's barking, I feel like, is literally, pet
Just
sounds.
yeah, it sounds.
Uh,
And they were his dogs.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, those are his. I don't remember what his dogs were called. I think, yeah, Banana and Lewis.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember in the movie Love and Mercy when he's playing on his piano trying to figure out good vibrations, and his dog starts barking. He's like, "Oh, nuts to you, Banana! I liked it." And I always laugh at that part because it's just so goofy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like you open up on this, like I've said, an idealization of what the future will be like, and you end on the crushing reality that the future is what we make it, but sometimes we don't make it the way it should be. And I feel like that's Pet Sounds.
All right then.
So what do you think? I've been talking the whole time. What do you think about this album?
All right. So I'm gonna be real with you. I think this was a necessary episode, definitely. Not only is it because it's like your favorite album, but because this actually like blew my mind. Like the stuff you went into, I was like, whoa. So it has definitely made me appreciate it a lot more on like a literary stance, you could say. Um, because like let's say it's almost like how I would enjoy The Godfather. It's like The Godfather isn't one of my favorite movies of all time, but it's very good and it is very well done, very serious and all that sort of thing. And it's like that. It's Pet Sounds, great album, and it's not, in like my top 10,
Mm-hmm.
but because mainly just because the sound of the Beach Boys is like, not my preferred. But
I mean,
like
I guess.
yeah, that was so lame.
No, no, no. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
but but it's like I love, you know, the effort, and I love how it was made, and like I would say that before this even, but I don't feel like I wouldn't know what I was talking about as much as I do now.
Hey, that's a good thing.
Because I was like, wow, that's you brought that up. Like, dang, okay.
No, I feel like I just had a once in a lifetime moment where it was clarity on how I feel about
Yeah,
this album.
it's
It'll never happen again.
yeah, it's like that's how it was with Astral Weeks
Next time
because
I talk to someone about it, I'm just gonna be like, "It good, make dog
yeah,
park."
yeah, it good because that's how I am with Astral Weeks. It's like as soon as I was able to like dissect the different parts of it, I was like, whoa. And then I would look at, other Van Morrison works, and I would try to, compare the two and all that. And there are some comparisons you can make among Van Morrison, but it's kind of hard to do because he's R&B, and Astral Weeks was that one exception.
Yeah.
Well, kinda.
Yeah, it is.
In the beginning, it was definitely, but
It makes me wonder, like an alternate reality where I'm really into alternate reality stories where the Beach Boys released "Smile," which is the album that
Mhm.
came after this. But it makes me wonder, what about an alternate universe where Pet Sounds is the Beach Boys' Astral Weeks? Like what if after
Uh-huh.
Pet Sounds does okay but not amazing, they go
Mhm.
back to the surfing sound? You know,
Yeah.
that'd be really be be something, all right.
Well, you ready to call it a wrap, man?
I'm ready. Next week, Smile Sessions, and I guess Smile as a whole.
All
Uh,
right.
Back to back Beach Boys, right? Yeah, after Pet Sounds, Brambles wants to follow it up with something more. Uh,
Mhm.
I'll give like a little brief thing. He wants to follow up with something more. At this point, Sergeant Pepper's is on the horizon. Revolver's out. Everyone's mimicking the Beatles. They're doing fake British
You
accents.
got
So
Rainy Day Women playing in the background.
yeah, yeah, Blonde on. I guess I feel like Blonde on Blonde and Smile almost they are very like American albums. I always think Bob Dylan is the most American solo artist. You know, but yeah, you
That's too
have.
much. That's too much to think about right now.
But
I would
instead
follow
of
up with that, but I can't.
the Brian Wilson gets together with a guy named Van Dyke Parks, and they
What
decide that instead of he has an album called Song Cycle, which I've heard is really good. But instead of trying to mimic Britain, why don't we go with what we know and what we are, and let's go with America. And so the idea of Smile became centered around this idea of Americana, and
Mhm.
that's what a lot of the album is. But we'll get to all that. But yeah, I had a good time.
Yeah, dude, that was cool.
All right. Well,